Good day, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the third episode of my travel series. This episode, expect a lot of driving. So Ontario is a massive province, and I had previously explored a lot of southern Ontario before, where like most of everything is. So I don't really spend a lot of time here. There's one specific town that I really wanted to visit on the way, so I spent a few days there, but the majority of my time in Ontario was spent just driving through the province, which alone took a few days. So yeah, expect a lot of driving in this episode. Anyways, in Ontario, first thing I did was I crossed over from Quebec and ended up in Ottawa, and I spent one night in Ottawa, visited a friend. There was some fireworks that were happening in town. Maybe because I was in town, I don't know. But it was a lot of fun, just strolling through downtown, walking about, and just whatever, just hanging out. The next morning after that, I left Ottawa and I made my way all the way to a little beach town called Wasaga Beach, or Wasaga Beach. I say Wasaga. I guess both pronunciations work. I asked some locals and they all kind of agreed on that. But Wasaga Beach was super fun. It's just a small little beach town on the shores of Lake Superior, and it's the longest freshwater beach on Earth. And I thought that was really cool. So most of the time that I was there, I just spent like walking on the beach, just hanging out. But I did do something that I had never done before. I went skydiving. Put it simply, I mean that it was a hell of an experience. That's that's a huge understatement. But yeah, I went skydiving. I don't even know how to put it into words even now. Like it's been a few weeks, but it was just a hell of an experience. That's the best way I can put it. If it's something you want to do in life, go for it. Like it wasn't scary. Like I never thought I was going to die. My body did. My body didn't know what the hell was going on. So like the first minute or so, you're free falling, and you can't really like comprehend what's going on. That's the best way I can put it. But yeah, I mean, super fun experience. And that was the gist of it for Wasaga Beach. After that, I just figured I would make my way north. What I did, there was two routes that I could have taken. One is I could have taken the Trans-Canada Highway and headed up to Sudbury, but what I ended up doing instead is I headed up to Bruce Peninsula, which is like the northern tip of like southern Ontario. That was really cool. So there's a national park there called Bruce Peninsula National Park. It has like some nice rock cliffs and nice scenery. It's pretty flat though. There's not any huge mountains. But there's a little town there, a little coastal town called Tobermory, and from Tobermory you can take a ferry over to Manitoba Island. Thank you. And that was really cool. I enjoyed that. Just like a short 2-3 hour, 2 hour ferry, I'd say. And then you pop out on the island, and I had zero plans at this point. Everything from leaving home up till this point was more or less planned. But then from this point on, nothing was planned. So when I was on the boat, I went on iOverlander. It's an app where you can find free and paid camping places. But it just lists like a whole bunch of places where people have stayed before and not had any trouble, or those kind of things. So on the boat, I actually met these two girls from France, but they were living in Ontario, somewhere from London, I think. No, it was Kitchener. So I overheard them speaking French, and then I just kind of bunted in. So anyway, it come to find out we were kind of like both checking out that same spot on Irovlander. So we're like, oh yeah, let's just drive out there and see what's up. So we drive out there and it's on this little tiny island just outside of this little village on Manitoba Island, and it was like literally the best camping spot anybody could have ever asked for. Like, there was nothing else around us. There was like a few campers and a few vehicles that were just like, you know, they were there for the same reason, pretty much, just camping it out. But yeah, it was like, it was great. It was excellent. So we had a little fire, whatever, just hung out. So that was that pretty much. And then the next morning I woke up, packed up my stuff, and then hit the road. And at that point, I was in Northern Ontario. And Northern Ontario is super remote. Over the next 2 days, I will have driven over 1,500 kilometers through Northern Ontario to get to the Manitoba border. It's so weird because, like, you know, you think of Ontario, you think of like the big cities and stuff, Toronto and whatever. Like, it is the most populous province in Canada. You know, like half of the country's population lives in Ontario. But then you get up to Northern Ontario and there's just nothing. But the scenery is absolutely breathtaking. Essentially, while driving the Trans-Canada Highway through Northern Ontario, you're contouring the northern shore of Lake Superior. The views that this road offers are incredible. In my case, I was traveling west, so I would look off to my left side and I would see the water as far as the eye can see. I would look off to my right and see these giant hills and endless forests straight ahead of me. It's really a nice drive to do. However, I don't think I would enjoy this drive a second time, just because of the sheer remoteness. You're often driving for a couple of hours before seeing another small little mining town, and you really have to plan your stops while driving this route as well, because there's only a gas station every couple of 100 kilometers or so. Alright, well, I've made it to Wawa, Ontario. In the middle of nowhere. Like, the last gas station was literally like 200 kilometers ago, and I'm just above half a tank. I was just by an Esso gas station right up the road, and they don't have any Supreme gas, and I need Supreme, so I'm gonna go into town here and see what's... Oh, there's the goose! There's the big goose! Look at that. It's a big ass goose. I saw an article about that goose. But anyway, yeah, let's see what they have for gas in town here. Hopefully there's like a Shell or a Petro can or something with Supreme gas. Downtown Wawa. If not, it's not a big deal. I'll just, like, I'm still over half a tank. I'll just put some non-Supreme, and the car will still run. I just won't be able to beat on it, which I don't do anyway, so that's fine. Oh, there's an Esso here. Let's see what they got. Oh, it looks like some old pumps. No, they don't got Supreme for sure. No. The old style pumps. And there's another big ass goose. Cobra chickens. Oh, here's a Petro can. How expensive is gas here? Oh yeah, they're gonna have Supreme for sure. Yeah, let's pull into here. Oh yeah, they got the good stuff. Alright, let's fill up and hit the road. We still got over 5 hours to go. Alright. After filling up, I still had about 5 hours to go until I reached the city of Thunder Bay, Western Ontario's biggest city. At this point, I was astounded by how remote Northern Ontario was. I had no idea. And keep in mind, this is the main Trans-Canada Highway. Now, unfortunately for me, it started raining pretty heavy and it started getting dark, and these are not conditions you want to be driving in, especially in Northern Ontario. So I decided to pull over and set up camp in the next town that came up. All right, well, it's like 9 o'clock now. It's starting to get dark and it's rainy. So I won't quite make it to Thunder Bay. I'm about an hour and a half from Thunder Bay. But I decided to find the nearest camp, and I've come across this place. It's a parking lot for a lookout tower. And here it is in the village of Nipigon. Nipigon? I don't know how to say it, but anyways, somebody will correct me, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm gonna camp here for the night. Thanks to iOverlander, I found this spot, good reviews and stuff. So this is actually a pretty interesting spot because, of course, there's a lookout. You can like see over the hills and all that. But just over the hill that's over there is a really important bridge for Canada. It's the only bridge that divides the west part of Canada to the east part. And weird story, like a few years ago, something happened to that bridge where they had to close it down for a while. So like literally like the eastern part of Canada was completely disconnected from the western part, because that's like literally the only road that connects the two. So I'll go check that out in a bit, maybe tomorrow when it's not raining. But for now, I'm just gonna set up the tent and hunker down for the night. Wow, beautiful view. There's my car. A few other campers here. And then this is the bridge I was telling you guys about. So that's the only link between West Canada and East Canada. Literally. That's so cool. The next morning after waking up, I immediately packed up the tent and hit the road. My first stop wasn't very far. Just outside of Thunder Bay is the Terry Fox Memorial. This commemorates the Terry Fox Run, which occurred in the 80s. Terry Fox went from St. John's, Newfoundland, and he was planning to run across Canada to raise money and awareness for cancer research, but unfortunately, due to his illness, he had to stop in Thunder Bay. Cancer hits really close to home for me, so I felt like I really need to make this stop. After checking out the monument for an hour or so, I then proceeded to make my way to Thunder Bay. This was the first actual city that I'd been in a couple days, so I felt the need to just drive around town to check it out and to pick up a few supplies before heading to Winnipeg. After that, I was back on the highway for another 7 hours until the Manitoba border. Can you believe it? Even after all this driving, I still had 7 hours to go after Thunder Bay. After Thunder Bay, the drive is pretty similar to what was before Thunder Bay, except there's no more water. It's just forest on all sides of the roads, endless forest and hills, and a little 2-lane highway. Sometimes 3 lanes. Sometimes you get a passing lane, but yeah, no, it's I don't know. At this point, I was just kind of getting tired. But one thing that did render the drive really interesting was I hit the most heavy rain that I'd ever driven through. It was absolutely insane.
Can't see shit. We're going 40 kilometers an hour. Oh, we're stopping. Oh, was there a collision? What happened here? Or are they pulling over? They're pulling over. Man, look at this! Oh, shit! Unbelievable!
Thankfully, the rain didn't last long. After that, it was smooth sailing for the rest of the way. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode when I bring you through the province of Manitoba.
Manitoba! Woohoo! Here we are! Holy crap, there's a lot of stickers. Oh, yeah! Freaking rights, boys, look at that. 4-lane highway, 100 kilometer an hour speed limit. Woohoo! Hell yeah! Oh my god, finally! All throughout Ontario, it was 90 kilometer an hour speed limit. Oh, it was such a pain. But look at that. Welcome to Manitoba!